Welcome here today, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pepsi 400 at Daytona for NASCAR Thunder 2004. We are getting set for race number 11 of this custom schedule season out of 36. About to take you through the starting lineup here for today's race and the interesting stories coming into this one for a 400-mile event and our third super speedway race of the year. Haven't been back at Daytona since the 500 when we kick-started the season, so this should be a pretty fun race here today.
Tonight, it's Super Speedway action under the lights. MRN is live at the Daytona International Speedway this evening with flag-to-flag coverage of the Pepsi 400. To win a race is something pretty special at any track. But to win here at Daytona, you're that much closer to becoming a legend in the sport.
The list of former winners here is very prestigious indeed. Who wouldn't want their name to be on it? Who knows, maybe we'll add another lucky driver when this one's all over.
Greg Biffle won the Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year award in the NASCAR Busch Series in 2001. He started all 33 races that year and posted 5
It's a lot of rivals.
2000 was a memorable year for Johnny Benson at Daytona. He was leading the 500 with 4 laps to go, but wound up in 12th.
And you know, he didn't even have a sponsor up until race day. Johnny was out front and looking good, but he got railroaded by a train of Fords after a late caution restart.
Taking through today's starting lineup for the Pepsi 400 on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Taking through the starting lineup for today's race, Greg Biffle will be starting on the pole for the 4th time this year. Ryan Newman outside of him, 2nd place in points coming into this race. Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jarrett will be starting in row number 2. In row number 3, we've got Robbie Gordon and the Daytona 500 winner. Last time we were at this racetrack, it was Kevin Harvick getting the victory at this racetrack. Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth will be in row number 4 for today's race. Gordon, a one-time winner, sitting top 10 in the point standings as well. Michael Waltrip, one of his better racetracks, he'll be starting in the top 10. Ricky Rudd, Watkins Glen winner, will start 10. Mark Martin with a win this year, trying to climb back through the points field. Rusty Wallace will be starting outside of him in row 6. In row 7, we've got Tony Stewart, Kenny Wallace. Tony Stewart sitting top 5 in the point standings as well coming into this race. No wins on the season. Elliott Sadler, Jerry Nadeau will make up row number 8. In row number 9, we've got Bobby Labonte and Sterling Marlin. Marlin knows how to win here. He's won a couple Daytona 500s. Johnny Benson, Jeff Burton will make up row number 10, starting 19th and 20th in the field. Jamie McMurray and Dale Earnhardt Jr. will come into this race starting row 11. Jr. won at Martinsville yesterday. Jack Sprague, Jeff Green will make up row number 12. In row 13, we've got Ward Burton and Casey Mears. Ricky Craven, Hermie Sadler back in row 14 for today's race. Bill Elliott, Christian Fittipaldi will make up row 15. In row 16, it'll be Jeremy Mayfield, Ken Schrader. A couple of those Ray Evernham Dodges are starting back-to-back. Kevin LePage, Kurt Busch back in row 17. Second straight bad qualifying effort for Kurt Busch. Steve Park, Mike Skinner will make up row number 18. And back in row 19, we've got Joe Nemechek and Ashton Lewis. Behind them in row number 20, it'll be Brett Bodine and Chase Montgomery. And behind them, we're going to have row number 21, Kyle Petty and Stanton Barrett. And last but not least, to round out the field, 43rd, all by himself in row 22, Terry Labonte, two-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion. So here we go. This is going to be a lot of fun for today's race. Can't wait for this one called 48. Welcome to the stream. Early going here in this one. Green flag is in the air. We're underway in the Pepsi 400. Quick start by Greg Biffle, getting ahead of his rival Ryan Newman. Newman dumped Biffle midway through the race yesterday. Junior pulled off the win at Martinsville. Ryan Newman closing right up to the back bumper of Biffle already. Gives him a shot from behind. Bottom maybe to try and pull by Ryan Newman. This is not what Biffle wants to see, is Ryan Newman there. He can't play nice today on a fast racetrack like this and get himself pushed around by these other drivers like you saw at Martinsville yesterday. Biffle almost in the wall off of turn 4. Now he is in the wall. 3 wide for the lead underneath him. Robbie Gordon from 5th place will lead the opening lap of the Pepsi 400. That's unbelievable. Biffle trying to reel him back in. A huge draft now gets underneath of Jimmy Johnson. Trying to get underneath of Robbie Gordon now, and he is side by side for the lead once again. This track has a lot more grip than the last time we were here in the daytime. Now in the nighttime for the Pepsi 400 versus the Daytona 500 at the very beginning of the season. Well, Robbie Gordon will lead lap 1. A race to try and lead the most laps, of course. Biffle just gets underneath Robbie Gordon again, but he's not going to have enough drafting help. Slides back up in front of Jimmy Johnson. Oh, here comes Ryan Newman. Newman about turns Biffle down the inside of the racetrack, heading towards the pit entrance and working his way back out onto the track again. Robbie Gordon will pull away to lead lap 2, and Newman almost caused the big one on the second lap of the race. Big time save off of turn 4 by Biffle. Just let the car drive to the inside. Luckily, there was no grass down there on that area of the racetrack. Sketchy situation here in the early going of the race. Robbie Gordon is just pulled away, but as long as the top half of the field sticks in the draft like they are right now, they will run him back down. Problem is, Newman already again closing right back up on Greg Biffle. He is all over his back bumper. It's a little bit of a bump draft there. Dale Jarrett to the inside of Ryan Newman. It pulls up in front of him as well. Ricky Rudd trying to work the bottom of the track. And Rudd is another one of Biffle's rivals. This is not a fun start to the race here. Dale Jarrett is already going to work his way now in front of Biffle. Biffle slides in line behind him. Biffle's just going to draft with Dale Jarrett right now down the backstretch, try to pull back in on Robbie Gordon here, not let Robbie get away. And Jarrett is to the back bumper now of the 31. Looking low. Biffle willing to follow him. Robbie Gordon's led the first 4 laps of the Pepsi 400, but it'll be Dale Jarrett to the lead now into turn 1. After being pushed by Greg Biffle. See, Jarrett might be able to get 5 bonus points, lead his first lap of the race. Jarrett sitting 6th in the point standings coming into this race today. Biffle 7th. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream. Huge block to the inside of the track. Oh, man, contact there. Jarrett blocked Biffle all the way to the inside line. Biffle had to come up the racetrack. Jarrett gets shuffled back. Bobby Labonte works his way up to second place. And Greg Biffle will lead his first lap of the race at the line, scoring himself his first 5 bonus points of the day. Despite being the pole sitter, it took him 5 laps to lead a lap. Jarrett now to the inside of Bobby Labonte. Aggressive racing in the early going of the Pepsi 400 here today. Labonte blocked off by Biffle. Biffle wants to lead as many laps as he can so he can try to clinch the most laps led as soon as he can. Currently, Robbie Gordon again led the first 4. Biffle led that lap. Dale Jarrett got to the lead after being pushed to the lead from Greg Biffle, but was not able to actually get bonus points for leading a lap. And Biffle does not want to see the 12 of Ryan Newman get up there, I'll tell you that much right now. As well as Ricky Rudd, wherever he might be at the front of the field. Yeah, I didn't give myself a chance to change that last night with the thumbnail. I don't know why the thumbnail just keeps staying like the same racetrack. I don't know. Man, Jarrett looked like he was going to get underneath Biffle. Robbie Gordon gave Biffle one heck of a push. Again, you don't need to physically be pushing another car with these Gen 4 cars. As long as you're lined up behind one another, you can hang on. Biffle washes up the track. Oh, man, and he gets squeezed again by Newman. Second time off of turn 4. Newman almost causes the big one. Greg Biffle holds on to the lead somehow, some way, as that checks up the field behind him. Newman is after Greg Biffle today. Biffle can't even allow him to let Newman get on by so he can share draft, and Newman just tries to wipe him out every time he gets up there. Biffle trying to block Robbie Gordon. They're 3 wide for third place. Daytona 500 winner Kevin Harvick, who started 12th, is already into the top 5. He is in that middle lane, drafting with his teammate Robbie Gordon. Dale Jarrett on the bottom. Tony Stewart's up there in the top 10 behind Ryan Newman. Newman in 5th. Stewart behind him in 6th. Biffle still trying to block. And after Robbie Gordon leads the first 4 laps, Greg Biffle will lead the next 4. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I don't know why the thumbnail keeps showing that. I'm not setting the thumbnail specifically either. It just kind of keeps it up there, and I don't know why it does that. Robbie Gordon just to the outside of Biffle. Biffle couldn't block him off there. He was able to get that forward momentum going into turn 3, and Harvick trying to get around his teammate. Perhaps for second as he looks low. Harvick trying to lead his. Oh, first lap of the race. Contact. Biffle holds on to the lead anyway. A late block on Harvick. There was some minimal contact that time. Sadia, welcome to the stream as well. Matt Kenseth into the top 5, working in that middle lane. Dale Jarrett's been up towards the front a lot, despite not leading a lap yet. Pretty much been in the top 5 this whole time. Going to see some 2-tire strategies out of Biffle, I'd have to assume, much like you saw in the Daytona 500 and at Talladega, and he earns $4.99 this season. Remember, we still have one more trip to Daytona this season. It is at the end of the year. Another night race, another 400-miler. Well, we went caution-free back in the Daytona 500 earlier this season. Talladega, we had a couple cautions, but no big one has happened in the first 2 super speedway races. So we'll have to see if that might happen here in this one, as Biffle's teammate almost got underneath him. Biffle's led every lap from lap 5 on after starting on the pole. Doing a good job controlling the lanes. Ryan Newman starting to work his way back up there. He's still in 5th, right behind Kevin Harvick. Maybe trying to go to the outside behind Jarrett. Get some pole up there. Biffle's got to be careful if Newman gets up there. Jarrett goes to the bottom in front of Matt Kenseth, leaving Ryan Newman the first car on the outside. Jarrett moves right back up in front of him. That 88 of Dale Jarrett looks really fast. He looked really fast at Talladega in the last restrictor plate race as well. This is not a long race. Again, only 400 miles, and at these speeds, this race will fly by, depending on how many cautions we get today. If we don't have many like in the Daytona 500, where we had 0, this race will fly by. And remember, Kevin Harvick, after winning the 500, made it on one less pit stop than everybody else. Didn't think everybody could make it on fuel like they did. Or I should say like Kevin Harvick did. But that just wasn't the case. And that outside had a big pull down the back straightaway. Elliott Sadler's worked his way up there. They are 3x3 through the pack through turns 3 and 4 again back there. Kenseth's trying to do everything he can right now to get to the lead. Elliott Sadler's on the bottom lane. He's trying to charge to the front, another one of Biffle's rivals. Seen a few of them already at the front of the field. There's 5 of them coming into the day. And this is the third one. Kenseth to the outside. He got there on Biffle. Biffle was not able to get in. Biffle now pulls in line right behind him to draft with his teammate. Get his teammate out there. Will Kenseth lead his first lap of the race? Biffle again to the bottom into turns 3 and 4, though. Trying to get help from Elliott Sadler. Doesn't want him to get alongside of him, that's for sure. Matt Kenseth will lead his first lap of the race at the line. Trying to hold his teammate off. Nowhere to go there. Sadler loses a couple positions. Kevin Harvick pulled right up in front of him. That 17 car looks strong up at the front of the field here. Kevin Harvick drafting right behind Biffle. Biffle trying to get a big run down the back straightaway. Just not able to get a big enough of a run to really get by Harvick. Or big run from Harvick to get by Kenseth, I should have said. Ooh, Kenseth got a little tight in the tri-oval. Biffle's got to run underneath him. He's there. Can he make the pass through turns 1 and 2? Yes, he will. Big run. Kenseth wasn't able to block. He was able to lead for 2 laps, though. And Dale Jarrett follows Biffle to get up to second. Jarrett's got a teammate of Elliott Sadler there as well, so that could be some strategy. See Jimmy Johnson in the top 5 on that bottom lane. Oh, Biffle tight into the wall. Off of turn 4. I guess Sadler's not quite mad enough to rub up against the Greg Biffle. That dropped him back to 3rd. Harvick trying to take the lead here. That was Sadler's first lap he's led today, by the way. Harvick looking to the inside. Big run in the draft from behind from Greg Biffle. Biffle into turn 3. Oh, man, just literally shoved Harvick in there. Biffle on the inside trying to make it 3 wide. Couldn't do it. Another lead change at the line. Kevin Harvick will lead his first lap of the race. Biffle now trying to draft with Elliott Sadler. Now looks underneath of Sadler. Big run into turn 1. Harvick able to block back to the bottom again. Keep an eye on Ryan Newman. He's tried to turn Biffle a couple times already. He's in that outer lane right behind Elliott Sadler. Now moves to the bottom behind Jimmy Johnson. Big move. He's trying to get Harvick off that bottom lane. By the time they get into the corner, the bottom is the way to pass around here. If you have enough drafting help, you can get around on the top side. Looks like we have one car already out of the race with a blown engine. Not sure who it is. They made their way to pit road. We stay green. Biffle's got to run again to the bottom of the racetrack. But Johnson moves up to the outside. Biffle trying to get a run all by himself into turn 1, and he will clear the 29 of Harvick. Yep, driving as Greg Biffle for this season. Newman to the inside of Harvick, perhaps looking for third. Biffle to the outside in front of Johnson. Johnson down to block Newman on the bottom. Biffle's got about a car length and a half advantage into turn 3. Harvick again trying to lead the outside. Johnson on the bottom behind Biffle. About halfway through the fuel run, roughly. Again, these guys can go about 40 laps on a full tank of fuel, 36 to 40. That's what we were seeing back in the Daytona 500 this year. Matt Kenseth trying to get that lane down on the bottom. Newman blocks him as Johnson blocks Newman. Oh, this isn't good. Ryan Newman trying to close into the back bumper. Oh, Newman's in the wall! Johnson also in the wall as they stacked up behind. We stay green. Heavy contact there. Ryan Newman washed up the track. Kind of pinched himself and Jimmy Johnson into the wall. Not sure how there wasn't a caution there. And somehow nobody saved it. Biffle just drives away, as well as 2 other cars. I believe Dale Jarrett and Kevin Harvick, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick. Wow, that just completely stacked up the field behind him. Not sure exactly what happened. Newman just kind of got tight off of turn 4 into Jimmy Johnson. Both cars in the wall, and everybody had to check up behind. And they lost a ton of ground in trying to work the momentum back up. They will catch these 3 at some point in time. 3 cars is not as fast as that giant pack of cars. Almost 40 of them. They're about 3.5 seconds back. Roush Fenway Racing 1-2 at the front of the field, and are the 3 cars going to battle it out amongst themselves? All 3 have led laps. Biffle's led the most. Harvick to the inside of Kenseth now, looking for second, but Harvick has to know that Biffle and Kenseth are going to try to stay with one another as much as they can. Though at the end of the day, it is every man for themselves. Kenseth will try to get to the lead if he gets an opportunity. We're going to alternate to the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Yeah, Ricky Rudd and the rest of that pack were a second faster than these 3 cars that last lap. Granted, these 3 cars aren't really staying that organized as well, but even still, a lot easier to block when there's only 3 cars in this pack as well compared to a whole bunch of them. Kenseth and Harvick really have to work together very well for them to get back to Greg Biffle and get alongside, but they're not. They're side by side with one another. Harvick will take over second and get around Kenseth. Somebody else way in the back has also lost the draft. Kind of a while ago. He's been running by himself. Not sure who it is. Of course, Daytona back in 2003, although the night race is probably going to have a little bit more grip than the day race. Even still, this track is a lot bumpier way back when versus what it is now when it was repaved less than 10 years ago. I believe repaved back before the 2011 Daytona 500, if I'm not mistaken. Kenseth back up to second, got around Harvick to turns 1 and 2. Been trading that second spot back and forth for the last couple laps. Kenseth trying to get the momentum to maybe get to the lead, but Biffle easily going to block it. And that pack is now less than a second behind Harvick and Kenseth. If they can just get a draft off of one of them two, whoever would be in third, I guess, they are going to have a huge run on the top three. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold on to the lead. And Harvick couldn't quite clear Kenseth that time. We'll see if he'll get back to him. I think Kenseth was able to side draft off his right rear corner panel just enough. It's crazy to think, though. The top 6 in points are all within one race of each other. Biffle in 7th, but there's only 193 back. Again, max amount of points you could score to race is 180 if you lead the most laps and win the race. Ooh, Biffle couldn't stick to the bottom. Oh, Harvick was there! Biffle about turns himself in front of the field. Trying to make the block. Huge run on the top by Ricky Rudd to get to the lead. Harvick was already underneath Biffle. Biffle made a late block, and Ricky Rudd will take his second lead of the race. That pack was coming in with huge momentum. Huge momentum by the pack, and that's how Rudd was able to get to the lead. Gordon almost got up to second. Not quite, and now Rudd all by himself out there. This pack is going to eat him alive before long. And whoever will be in second place will try to get the run on Ricky Rudd. But he was able to lead 1 lap, about to make it 2. Harvick almost gets to the outside of Biffle. Biffle just able to slide up in front of him. Now the 2 Roush Fenway Fords on the inside. Michael Waltrip's in the top 5 in the 15 car. Biffle just trying to protect the bottom. Kenseth is now on the outside, with Kevin Harvick behind him. Waltrip behind Biffle on the inside. Side by side now for second off of turn 2. Jeff Gordon behind Michael Waltrip. Bobby Labonte in line there. Ooh, a little contact. I think. Tough to tell. Harvick had a pretty decent run. He was able to get to the inside. Oh, Harvick bounced it off the wall off of turn 4. Barely. Barely nicked it. And that's why the pack didn't really slow up much like it did when Johnson and Newman got in the wall. Biffle didn't work with Kenseth on the outside. They will work on the inside. Ricky Rudd trying to go down and throw a block. Matt Kenseth's going to try to take the lead. Biffle all the way underneath. Oh, man! Way down on the flat. What a move by Biffle. But he couldn't quite clear Kenseth in the process. Ricky Rudd right underneath him. I should say Biffle underneath Rudd, rather. Kenseth to the lead. After that push from Biffle, it was just enough. Biffle in second by himself, trying to get a run on his teammate now. On the outside. Rusty Wallace might have made a run to the inside of Biffle as Biffle closes in on Matt Kenseth. Rusty Wallace is there, not anymore. Biffle to the inside of Kenseth for the lead. Going into turn 3, side by side. And Biffle's all clear now with his rival Ricky Rudd right behind him. Doesn't want Ricky Rudd to get alongside of him either. Rudd is one of Biffle's rivals. He might try to sideswipe him like he saw with Greg Biffle earlier, but he's got a run from Kenseth from behind. He takes a swing at Biffle in the center of the corner. Biffle able to hold on to the lead. The run is still there. This could get dangerous going into turn 3, side by side. Biffle just trying to hold his line. Oh, Kenseth! He just went up the middle. What a move. Matt Kenseth went up the middle between Ricky Rudd and Greg Biffle to take the lead. Biffle kind of stalled out Rudd. What a move by the 17, and the Roush Fenway Fords are still 1-2. I don't know how Kenseth pulled that off. Biffle's going to maybe try to make a move now on Kenseth at some point here. Biffle doesn't have enough help behind him, though, to try and get the pull he needs to back up there. Kenseth really pulls Biffle in the center of the corner as these tires are starting to wear out a little bit more. So Kenseth leads. Big run by Biffle through the tri-oval. Looking low. He's underneath Kenseth for the lead into turn 1. Biffle might have timed it out perfect. It's so hard to get that run when it's just 2 cars by themselves. Biffle got the run that time, but Kenseth's still on the outside of him. And Ricky Rudd goes behind Matt Kenseth. Biffle slides in line now in between the two. Rudd tries to go to the bottom to block Bobby Labonte. Wasn't able to. Labonte to the inside for third. Dale Jarrett trying to work himself back up here again. Kenseth got a big pull off of turn 4. Biffle really trying to keep that 21 car behind him still. Kenseth got way out ahead of the lead though. Big run by Biffle through the tri-oval again to the inside. Kenseth couldn't block it. He got way too far out ahead of the pack. Crew chief says he's clear, but he's not though. Kenseth's still there on that right rear corner panel. Biffle can't clear him. And again, pulls in line right in between him and this time Dale Jarrett. Biffle again trying to get a run into turn 3. Kenseth maybe trying to pull the block. I don't know if he was clear or not. Biffle slides up off of turn 4, back in front of Dale Jarrett again. Big run on Kenseth. Now to the inside. Stick with this normal camera here for the next little bit. And Greg Biffle to the lead into turn 1. That time he clears Kenseth. Took him a few laps, finally got around him. Push from Dale Jarrett definitely helped. Still clear off of turn 2. Caution free to this point in the Pepsi 400, but still a very entertaining race. Green flag pit stops will be coming up very shortly. See if anybody might try to short pit at all. Greg Biffle likely going to take right sides only under this first pit stop. Going to stay out for at least a couple more laps, and a large amount of cars coming to pit road. Like of the leaders there, I believe Jeff Gordon came to the pits. I don't think Michael Waltrip did. It looked like he did at first. I don't think he did, though. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Oh, 185. Gotcha, not 180. Yeah, my bad. You're right, it is 175 to win, and then... Yeah, we're 193 back. Thing is, though, a lot of the drivers in the top half of the points are here. Ricky Rudd, the points leader, by 1 point over Ryan Newman. Newman has been up towards the front, although Newman hasn't led a lap yet. Dale Jarrett, 6th in points. He's been in the top 5 all day. Jeff Gordon's been up here at times. He is sitting in the top 10 as well. So a lot of the points leaders at the front of the field. More cars come to pit road that time. And here are the cars coming out of the pits. And the field really got spaced apart there. Bobby Labonte up to 2nd. So Biffle should cycle to the lead through the green flag stops as long as he doesn't have a speeding penalty, because it will be right sides only to try and take that tire advantage and just try to move way out ahead. And oh, he's got a rival here of Kenny Wallace right there, but luckily he wasn't up to speed yet. Biffle going to try to stay out of the pits until lap 40 if he can. Or at least pit coming to the line at lap 40. More cars ended up hitting pit road that time. Not that many of them, but some of them did. A large portion of them came the lap prior. Remember, we saw Kevin Harvick pit every 40 laps to win the Daytona 500. 40 laps less of a race today. Run trying to get up to speed still, so is Hermie Sadler. Got tight. Biffle's led the most laps up to this point, so he hasn't really been able to save fuel at all. But he's trying to now to make it an extra lap. Sadler's not taking the shortest way around the track either. That might not be helping. There's Ryan Newman. Right in front of Biffle, but Biffle will be coming to pit road this time. 70 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. Easily going to get down in time. Right side tires only. And repair some of that damaged full tank of fuel. To try and be the first driver on the racetrack when everything cycles through. Only the top 4 didn't pit coming to that lap. You see Jeff Burton on pit road as well. No mistakes, hopefully, off of the 16 team. First of what will likely be 3 pit stops today. Maybe 4. We'll see. Nice clean stop there for the 16 team, but now can he cycle back in front of everybody else as he comes back out on the racetrack? He beat everybody he came onto pit road with, but he had a pretty big advantage there too. When can Biffle get up to speed is going to be the big thing. So absolutely everybody pitted before lap 40. Or at least coming to lap 40 for 4 of them. Biffle didn't want to stretch it that extra lap. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it or not. Again, he's trying to work to leading the most laps before he just hops in line and drafts. He's got about a 4-second lead over Mark Martin. Hasn't really been up towards the front at all today, but he's in second currently. So that large pack of cars is going to catch Biffle eventually here. It'll probably be a couple laps, so enough time for Biffle to lead a couple more laps with no pressure. Quarter of the way home already in the Pepsi 400. Chance to let you guys know right now, for those of you watching, we do these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast on the daily. Of course, today, with video games, of course, but with me starting my broadcasting career here. The reason why I started the YouTube channel, so help me out, support me. My quest to one day, hopefully, broadcasting real races in real life under the NASCAR realm. So the pack again slowly trying to catch up to Greg Biffle. Shouldn't say slowly, they will catch him and they'll catch him fast. So hopefully Biffle can block the run when they do get up there. They're probably running every bit of 10 miles an hour faster. Yeah, they're zipping off of turn 4 right now. Biffle to the line, he'll lead another lap with no pressure. Got about a 1.5 second lead to Mark Martin. Then Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr. in the top 5 for the first time today, and Bobby Labonte in 5th. Jr. had to start outside the top 20 in this race, if you remember, so he's finally worked himself through the pack through green flag pit stops. These guys might have 4 fresh tires versus Biffle's 2 as well, so their cars are going to handle a little bit better. Speed-wise isn't going to matter much with these restrictor plates, but the handling is going to be there for the 16 team, or I should say for everybody else versus the 16 team. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. And this pack has stayed together for the most part all day today. That's something we did not see first time we were here this season in the Daytona 500. Things got spaced apart pretty easily after the first pit stop. That is not the case here. Everybody's in a pretty big pack for the most part. So Mark Martin will catch Greg Biffle, his teammate, through turns 1 and 2. Behind him is Dale Jr., who has moved up to 3rd now, and Jeff Gordon. Biffle able to block Martin off. Here comes Dale Jr. on the inside for 2nd place. He'll block him off. So great job by Biffle, able to hold on to the lead easily there. But this pack of cars has caught him now. Jr. to the outside with a big run and a big block as they slide off of turn 4. Biffle trying to hold off, pinching Martin down there to lead another lap. That was going to be close. Martin gave him a lot of freeway there. Not sure if he's going to lift if it's late in the race, but he lifted there to let his teammate go that time. Still in the first half of this one. 7 people watching right now currently. Hit the like button, by the way. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream also. Only got 2 likes, 8 people watching now. Assuming you guys are enjoying the content. Dale Jarrett up to 2nd. Jarrett's got to be the fastest car to not lead a lap up to this point. He's been in the top 5 this whole race. Hasn't led a lap yet. He's come close a couple times. Lap 47 currently. Michael Waltrip up to 2nd. Got to watch out. Those DEI cars are both up here. They know how to work together on these super speedways. Waltrip in 2nd place right now. Dale Jr. working his way up to 3rd with a big run on the inside. He's side by side with Mikey. He's got Sterling Marlin behind him. That A-car looks strong too, though. But a couple times he's almost gotten alongside of Greg Biffle. Biffle's car might be a little on the looser side versus the tighter side with fresh right side tires. When he goes left side tires only under the next pit stop, the car might tighten up quite a bit compared to how it was on this run. Maybe being on the looser side, but at least he's able to get the car to turn when he needs it to, the right sides versus left sides only. So that will be a major difference between this run and the next run. That will come whenever the case will be. Well, Rusty Wallace back inside the top 3. Winless this season. Mark Martin definitely needs a big points day today. Trying to lead his first lap of the race at some point. Rusty Wallace pulls right up in front of him. Dale Jarrett now to the inside of Rusty Wallace off of turn 2. Dale Jr. behind Dale Jarrett. Biffle finished second in the Daytona 500 earlier this season. And this is, ooh man, late block on Rusty. Barely pulls up in front of him right on the exit of turn 4. We have seen some aggressive racing from everybody in the early going of the race, that is for certain. Still caution free, lap 50. Ooh, Sterling Marlin almost took it 3 wide for second. They're actually 3 wide for third.
Number 6 is looking left.
Now side by side, Dale Jr., I should have said. Underneath Mark Martin, he had a big run behind Mark. Mark gave Biffle the shove to really get that outside going down the back straightaway as well. Jr. has cleared Mark Martin, looking for the lead himself. Can Jr. perhaps go back-to-back today? Oh, huge run by Sterling Marlin on the bottom. Wow, he got through there really quickly. Matt Kenseth gave Marlin one heck of a shot. And Sterling Marlin to the lead for the first time today. He'll try to lead his first lap at the start-finish line. Should be able to lead it too. Big run by Biffle, looks all the way down to the apron. Now we haven't been playing with an out of bounds rule on this game in particular. Granted, he didn't advance his position down there either. Didn't advance until they got into turn 1, but he is able to clear Marlin after Sterling leads his first lap of the race to get himself 5 bonus points. So that was a lead change. Biffle trying to make it another lead change at the start-finish line, this time by as long as Marlin isn't able to get to the lead back to the line. I don't think he'll lead the lap. Rusty Wallace trying to get a run on the bottom. Gets alongside the 40 car. Tell you what, 3 Roush Fenway Fords now in the top 5 as Kenseth is back up here again. These Roush Fenway cars have definitely brought speed to the racetrack here today. Some of the Penske cars, I mean, really, Rusty Wilson is up here now. Ryan Newman was up front a lot for the first 20 to 30 laps of the race before making some contact with Johnson and getting into the wall. Haven't really seen Ryan Newman since, outside of coming out of the lap traffic. Might have had a slower pit stop on top of it. Could have been repairing that damage as well. Far different race from Martinsville, which we saw yesterday. Remember, we had a record for the most amount of cautions we've had this season. We had 13 caution flags in that race. None to this point today. Be insane. Again, we have 3 Daytona races this season. This is the second, the first of 2 night races that are 400 miles each. Riding the Pepsi 400 tonight. Sadler working his way back up through the field again. He's back in the top 5, sitting in 5th, right behind Sterling Marlin on the inside. Oh, Kenseth bounced it off the wall off of turn 4. That'll give Sterling Marlin 2nd place. Elliott Sadler will move up to 3rd. Sadler with a run to the outside. Marlin goes high to block him. Kenseth definitely lost a lot of ground there. Sadler, one of Biffle's rivals. Sadler to the inside of Marlin now for 2nd. Sadler with a run. He's there. Remember, he's not quite upset enough to really make contact with Greg Biffle. If that were to get to 60, on the other hand, he would. Biffle trying to get underneath him there with a push from Sterling Marlin, but Sadler was able to block it off. Elliott did lead 1 lap earlier in the race before the first set of pit stops. He's about to lead his 2nd lap at the line this time by. So he won't get bonus points for this one, but Elliott Sadler will get to the lead. This 16 car seems to gain a lot of his ground through the tri-oval, as you see Sadler blocking him there from top to bottom. But wasn't quite able to get underneath him. Ricky Rudd back up to 3rd. Now that is a rival that is willing to make contact with Biffle if he gets an opportunity. Haven't seen Rudd up in the top 3 since the pit stops, but we see him here now. Big run, Biffle again. Kind of ran out of room. Going into the corner. Sadler on the outside. Biffle does not want to see the 21 car get alongside of him. Sadler got way out ahead of the pack through the tri-oval to lead another lap, but Biffle gets a huge run. Going off into turn 1 with momentum to the inside of Sadler. Sadler crowds him into turn 1. He still crowds him. There's some contact. Is he clear? Yes, off of turn 2 he is. Sadler did not give him much room there. A little rub and run by Biffle to get to the lead. Dangerous at high speeds like this, 190 plus miles an hour. Going into turn 1 when that move was made. Luckily, Sadler's still not to that point where he's extremely upset about it. But he's very close. Minus 58 on that rival indicator. Minus 60 is where they start to try to make contact with you. So, we're definitely pushing the boundaries there as Waltrip tries to go to the inside of him for 2nd place. And boy, Ricky Rudd really fell back that last lap and a half. All of a sudden, he's outside the top 5. And that's the nature of restrictor plate racing. How quickly you can move to the front. About as quick as you can move to the back. Jerry Nadeau in the 0-1 car is up to 2nd place. Challenging for the lead for the first time today. Can he lead his first lap? Jeff Burton as well trying to lead his first lap of the race perhaps. And some alternating Roush Fenway Fords, 3 of them in the bottom lane right now at the front of the field here. Jerry Nadeau almost got alongside Greg Biffle. Biffle slid up right in front of him and back down in front of Jeff Burton. Oh, Burton in the wall. Jeff Burton got the wall off of turn number 4. Nadeau was able to hold on to second place on the bottom. Might have stacked some cars up a little further back. Yeah, oh man, that really was a big stack up down the front stretch. That leaves just 5 cars to settle things for the lead currently. We stay green and stack the field up, but nobody spun around. It's Biffle, Waltrip, Rusty Wallace, Jerry Nadeau, and Dale Jarrett in the top 5, all at the front, who were able to get around Burton after getting into the wall. So we'll see when this other pack of cars can catch these guys. They race and battle hard. Oh, we got a caution for the first time today. Caution's out at lap 63 off of turn 4. And that track map was starting to get pretty clogged up. There might have been a huge accident. We might have seen the big one for the first time today. Jeff Gordon went around off of Jeff Burton's front bumper. Jimmy Johnson got in the wall. Dale Jr. went spinning to the infield. Hard to tell if that might have been the big one or not, but there was definitely about 3, 4, maybe 5 cars involved in the accident. Biffle's going to stay out of the pits here. Well, this is interesting here. So everybody hit pit road except for Greg Biffle. I think they saw Biffle pit, and they decided to stay out. Oh, man. This is going to be very interesting. Now they're on even fresher tires. Again, that doesn't matter for speed necessarily, but handling, so Biffle keeps the track position. First caution of the race. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream. Welcome back to the stream, I should say. Unless you were here the whole time. You probably were. So that was the first caution of the day. I don't think it was a heavy enough accident that we're going to see any debris cautions here. So first caution at Daytona this season, in which we have ran 260 plus laps at Daytona this season before we saw that caution. Oh man! Biffle, the late block on Waltrip off of turn 4. Dale Jarrett slides up to second. Biffle trying to hold on to the lead. Plus, he led all those caution laps, too. All 3 or 4 of them. Less than 100 laps to go. The Pepsi 400. That is really going to split the strategy up the rest of the race here. It still should be a 2-stop race. Those guys that pitted under the caution, which I would assume is most of the field, they can't make it to the end of this race anyway from when they pitted on one more stop. I just don't see them making it. I don't see anybody making it over 80 laps. And we have just over 90 still to go. So it should still be a 2-stop race. But when things split up under green flag pit stops here in about a dozen laps or so, they're going to have a drafting partner. Because everybody that pitted under the last caution is going to stay out. Oh, man. A little loose off of turn 4 that time. Actually kind of broke the draft a little bit. They didn't have enough of a run to really train right around him either. Waltrip kind of holds on to second. The run stalled out for Elliott Sadler when Biffle went down that low. Waltrip has a run there, but he's held off by Biffle. Nadu trying to make a move under Sadler. Remember, Walter came into this race 10th in points too, and it's still early enough in the season. Don't count him out. Looking good today. This is one of his better racetracks too. Biffle barely holds on in front of him. Walter might have lifted a little bit. Again, I don't think you're going to see him lift in the last couple laps of the race when that happens, but still in the first half. We're almost halfway home. That cross flags mark. Stop there. I don't think Ty Dillon's buffed. I know BJ McLeod is on certain tracks randomly. I don't think Ty Dillon is. I can't really recall him having a great season on our career mode or the Heat 5. Well, I guess he's not really on career mode either. Oh, wow. Biffle lost the lead to Waltrip and barely was able to hold off Dale Jarrett, who almost got underneath the Biffle. Biffle's got a big run to the back of Michael Waltrip. Going into turn 3, Waltrip blocks him off. In the center of 3 and 4. Mikey trying to lead his first lap of the race. Get himself 5 bonus points. He's getting way out in front of Biffle and the rest of the field here. To the line. Oh, they got a huge run on him now going into turn 1. A big run. Oh, and he chops off Biffle. There was some contact there. That was a very late block. Very late block. And Biffle's going to have to gain all that momentum right back again. Big run into turns 3 and 4. On the outside, Biffle couldn't get around him. Waltrip really good at protecting the lanes. He's a very good super speedway racer. Wins at Daytona and Talladega. Multiple wins. 2-time Daytona 500 winner. Oh, he almost blocked Biffle. Biffle was already below the line, and he almost made contact with him still. Biffle stayed in the gas, and he's able to clear Waltrip into turn 1. For the lead. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Ty Dillon did win 2 races. You're right. Yeah, Ty Dillon won 2 races. One of them was a super speedway. And I think the other one was a race I DNF'd and it randomized the finishing order. That's how he won 2 races. I don't remember him making it to the round of 12, but I know he was in the playoffs because he did have 2 wins. You're right. Yeah, he won, I believe, at Talladega, and then he won another race. Jerry Nadeau shoots Elliott Sadler to the lead. Boy, Biffle got loose into turn 3 there. Again, still on those right sides only from his first pit stop of the race. Most of the field was pitted twice. So Elliott Sadler, for the 3rd different time today, back in the lead. Biffle's got a big run on him in the draft. Looking low. He's underneath Biffle. Room, and Biffle clears him for the lead into turn 1. like a car or two have lost the draft at the back, maybe sitting back in case the big one happens. That's definitely possible too. Almost halfway home here in the Pepsi 400. Biffle trying to make it to lap 80, or at least coming to lap 80 before he pits. It'll be left side tires only during his pit stop. We'll get to see if anybody might try to short pit here too. And that left front's getting really worn out. Sadler again. Trying to pinch him and side draft him. But Sadler's got the full nose out ahead of the field and leads here at Daytona. Ricky Craven into the top 3 all of a sudden. Or at least trying to. He's underneath Sterling Marlin. It's the 4th different time now Sadler's led a lap today. Again with a run down to the bottom. Sadler was blocking to that yellow line. Biffle clears him into turn 1 again. So they trade the lead back and forth here, lap after lap, it seems like. Ooh, just blocks him off of turn 2. He wasn't going to let Sadler get around him again there. Sadler's teammate Dale Jarrett now underneath him. Ricky Craven still sitting in line behind Dale Jarrett. On the inside. Biffle trying to block through the tri-oval top to bottom on both Dale Jarrett and Elliott Sadler. Nobody came to pit road there. And if Biffle comes to pit road all by himself here, he's going to have 0 drafting help. And a lot of these guys are going to stay out that pitted under the last caution. And that could be problematic for the 16 team. Left rear's starting to get really worn out now too. It is lap 80. Greg Biffle will be coming to pit road this time by. Ricky Craven, Dale Jarrett side by side. Oh no, huge contact. Biffle with a late block on Dale Jarrett. Marlin now the run to the inside of Craven. Craven blocks him off for a moment. No. Marlin stays underneath him going into turn 3. And Greg Biffle will hit pit road this time by. 70 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. Oh, and he lips it around and into the wall. Just lost control coming into pit road. And all that track position lost. That was not a great scenario for Greg Biffle. With the contact, or I should say with the track position lost. Spinning coming to pit road. Second caution of the night, lap 80. It's going to be a 4-tire stoppings at the pit stop under caution here for Greg Biffle. The big one at Vegas for you there, Tyler? Well, now coming from the back. Green flag will be back in the air. All that track position for the first half of the race is gone for Biffle at the restart. And he's going to have to go through all the rivals, too. Jack Sprague, Kenny Wallace back here. This is not going to be a fun go for the 16 car. He's got to make sure he stays in this draft as well. Nobody behind him right now. That could be dangerous. Needs to quickly get around Ashton Lewis if he can. This huge pack of cars. Biffle will run to the inside. Fittipaldi 3 wide, going off into turn 3 and tight. Oh, Sprague just trying to wipe out Biffle. Check everybody up back behind him. And now Biffle's in the wall. And has lost the draft. I'm sure that contact with Jack Sprague kind of costed him a ton of time there. And no drafting help for the 16. Now he's got these 4 cars behind him that he just passed on the restart. And the job has gotten even harder for Greg Biffle to try and get back to the front again. His own fault for spinning out, trying to come to pit road and losing all that track position in the first place. Jack Sprague going to get underneath him. Almost. Biffle blocks him off. Biffle's the lead car in this draft because he doesn't think that he can draft behind any one of these guys and catch them. Oh, we got a blown engine on the inside of the racetrack. Elliott Sadler. Oh, what a tough break for Elliott Sadler. He has led laps multiple different times today and was up at the front at the time of that last caution. Terrible ending for Elliott Sadler. So he'll now try to come to pit road. I don't know if there was a check up there or if Biffle's just flat out catching up to this pack. I mean, this 5-car group could be catching these guys. It's not impossible. He's trying not to let Jack Sprague get back alongside of him again. Large pack of cars up there is becoming a little bit more visible. Somebody else has lost that draft. Biffle in this 5-car pack going to try to get up there and reel in another car into the draft all of a sudden. Jimmy Johnson in the 48. I'd have to assume he's got a fast car, the Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. That could be a car Biffle could possibly draft with and get to that lead pack. Even the lead pack's kind of slowly splitting up. At least with being back here, you can avoid the big one. So Biffle's going to try to draft now. Oh, and Jack Sprague just put Greg Biffle in the wall. Caution's out for the 3rd time today. Sprague just absolutely stuffed Biffle into the wall. Third yellow at lap 88. Right in the center of the corner. And, I mean, they are very lucky they were at the back of the pack and not more cars were involved. Biffle was trying to get up there and draft with Johnson. Very lucky. Biffle took a hard hit as he got sandwiched there. And He's going to come to pit road and repair that damage. That is pretty significant. And a lot of other cars are coming into the pits this time as well. Biffle might try to gain some track position by pitting here. So it'll be a one pit stop race for everybody else. Biffle going to top off on fuel. Repair some damage along the way. Maybe try to gain a few spots. Maybe cut about halfway through the field, perhaps. But he definitely had to come down and repair that damage. He's going to beat a lot of these guys out of the pits.
The cars at the head of the pack didn't pit.
So not everybody came to pit road, but most of the drivers came to pit road. It's going to be very interesting. Biffle's able to cut through most of the field there. He's up to 19th. Green flag back in the air at lap 92 in the Pepsi 400. And Ryan Newman is not too much further ahead of Greg Biffle. Another rival that Biffle's got to pass. Remember, Biffle owes him a little bit of payback. Remember, it was Ryan Newman who wiped out Biffle once on a restart back at Martinsville in the last race. And he tried to wipe him out a couple times already today. This might not be easy. He's going to get to his inside off of turn 4. Still to his inside. And Newman runs him down into the grass. Oh, and he just wipes out Newman and the rest of the field. The big one at Daytona. Down the front stretch. Retaliation gone wrong. Somebody has blown it up in the infield grass. The leaders race back to the caution flag. Newman ran Biffle to the grass. He came back up the track. They're still side by side. They came together, and Biffle tried to pinch him into the wall. Huge crash with a lot of innocent bystanders behind. And the big one is struck in just around the 100 lap mark. A lot of damage to the 16. And will have to be repaired again. At least one car that was involved in that accident was smoking on the inside and is done. I'm not sure who it was. For Biffle's sake, he's hoping it was Ryan Newman or Jack Sprague. A couple drivers that have tried to rough him up already a few times. Well, not all the damage is fixed. We might have some debris cautions from some of these other drivers as well. And again, we're back to green, and sure enough, Ryan Newman came to pit road with Greg Biffle. Brett Bodine's not too happy. Biffle trying to track with him. He should be able to get around Bodine, though. Bodine's not that upset, but he does block Biffle below the yellow line. Oh, and Biffle about gets turned by Newman. Newman puts himself in the wall off of turn 2. My goodness. shenanigans at the back of the pack here. Newman lost the draft after that incident, too. Biffle just trying to get through these guys as quick as possible. How much speed has been wrecked out of the car after those two accidents. The one coming to pit road all by himself, and then the big one, and now we got a caution. There's debris somewhere on the track. Not sure who from. They'll race back to the caution flag. And this will be caution number 5 here today in the Pepsi 400. My goodness. So the debris, I believe, came off of Terry Labonte's car. I didn't see it. Biffle's going to stay out here and try to keep the track position from the couple cars he passed. There's the points as we run. Biffle needs to get back through the pack. Running where he is right now, he's back to 10th. We know he's got one of the faster cars, but again, how much speed was taken out of it. And he's got a lot of rivals right in front of him. Kevin LePage, Jack Sprague's already tried to wreck him. Kenny Wallace, Ken Schrader. This is not going to be a fun ride to get through the field for the 16 car. He's going to do his best. Out around Chase Montgomery on the restart. Trying to draft with Jack Sprague. Biffle now behind Ken Schrader. Schrader not too upset with him as checked up a little bit into turn 3. Biffle gets around Schrader for position. Drafting up from behind there from Chase Montgomery as well. Oh, Sprague got loose off of turn 4. 3 wide through the tri-oval. Sprague trying to put Biffle into the grass now. And another shot. And he kind of crowded Chase Montgomery in the field back behind him. And that's not good because Biffle might have lost the draft now because of it. Trying to desperately stay in the draft of Kenny Schrader. And he's not able to. Might get another debris caution. It's not impossible. Jack Sprague just costed himself and Biffle. Biffle lost the draft. And oh, the big one off of turn 4! Car spinning hard into the inside wall. Might have been off the front bumper of Kenny Wallace. Cautions breeding cautions. That was a vicious crash to the inside retaining wall off of turn 4. It was Kyle Petty who got clipped. As he just hit the inside wall there with the left side of his race car, kind of pinching Kenny Wallace up the track. A couple free spots for Biffle right before they got back to the start-finish line, and he's going to stay out again. Cautions breeding cautions here in the Pepsi 400. We had 1 in the first 80 laps of the race, and we've now had 5 since. That was our 6th caution of the race as we near 50 laps to go. And another restart. A big jump to the inside. Biffle not wasting any time. It's underneath of Stanton Barrett. Yeah, it was a good wreck avoidance there from the 16, that is for sure. Biffle to the inside of his teammate, Mark Martin as well. Man, Martin and Kens has really lost a lot of track position in this race as well. Barrett kind of crowding Biffle into turn 1. Biffle able to get around him. Biffle trying to draft with Matt Kenseth, though, too. Biffle definitely doesn't have the speed he did earlier in the race. Head damage is slowing him down. He's having a hard time trying to draft with these guys. Well, there's still one more pit stop scheduled the rest of the way. Oh, man. Martin checked up. Kenseth pulled up right in front of him. Allows Biffle to get around Martin. Biffle needs to do whatever he can to stick with the draft with these cars ahead of him. And he does have teammates. It's 3 Roush Fenway Fords. 1, 2, 3 with each other. 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Even Jeff Burton just a couple spots ahead of Matt Kenseth. Already they're starting to lose him. Through the tri-oval, Biffle just trying to cling on. Just not able to get there. It's just too much damage on the front of the 16 car. He'll let his teammate Mark Martin go. Oh, and he about turns himself right into Kenny Wallace. Oh, and we got another crash. Down the racetrack as they race back to the caution flag. Down the back straightaway, Biffle trying to get back on the track and not lose as many spots. Biffle thought he had Schrader clear, trying to squeeze in between him and Mark Martin. And another caution. That was another big one on the back straightaway. Might have just been those couple cars off the initial. Oh, you saw Schrader spinning there into turn 3 still. I believe he got hit by Mike Skinner. Biffle's going to come to pit road, repair the damage. It's not been a pretty race for the 16 team all of a sudden after leading a lot of laps in the first half. 7 cautions all of a sudden. Still got enough laps to make it back through the field. The problem is these cautions are happening so often, we're not having a lot of green flag laps to run that can allow Biffle to get back through this field. Still heavy damage.
Nobody else decided to come in.
We have not raced at Sonoma yet this season, no. It's not coming up until like a little past the halfway point. Oh man, there's Kevin LePage. Biffle trying to get around him as quickly as he can here.
That pass was for position. Nice job. The 11th car isn't going to let you out easily.
Biffle again trying to stay in the draft of as many cars as possible. Ryan Newman not too far up ahead as well. Bodine trying to block Fittipaldi, and Fittipaldi's trying to block Biffle and stay in front. And look at this. I mean, these guys just absolutely... Oh, and LePage trying to turn Biffle. Biffle comes back down in front of him. My goodness. That was a big save in the center of turns 3 and 4 by Biffle. But they have lost so much ground. And LePage all over the back bumper of him again. Trying to hook him. Joseph Ben, welcome to the stream. Well, we did try to fix the damage under the last caution, but there's just so much from these couple incidents that Biffle's been in already. And another caution for debris. Right off of Terry Labonte's car once again. Labonte was very slow. He lost the pack himself right before that debris caution. Lap 115. We have another yellow. Our 8th of the race. And all of a sudden, this is starting to turn into Martinsville from yesterday. Biffle's going to hit pit road. How many other drivers are going to hit the pits here? Doesn't look like anybody hit pit road. Biffle will. Top off on fuel, 4 fresh tires, repair the damage again. It's not like NASCAR Heat where you can repair all the damage at once. Like, we literally... Again, there's no damage clock on this game for my own, like, rules. And, and then we got that happening. Jackman falling over, trying to get to the right side. Biffle's the only car in pit road, so they can take their time. It's not going to cost them anything. Take their time, repair as much damage as they can. I mean, they've been working on it since the big one, but he is just not able to repair the damage. A lot of speed knocked out of it. Tony Stewart leads currently. Biffle might be able to make it on fuel the rest of the way. It's going to be close. We get another caution or two. I think he can save enough fuel to make it to the end. Everybody else still might have to pit. Biffle quickly getting by Kevin LePage. Trying to get by Bobby Labonte as well. To the inside of Brett Bodine. Oh man, he really muscled his way in there. That was not ideal. And that was a bad idea, because now that's just broken up the draft again. 3 wide down the back. Biffle might have just made another rival as well. A little move. And who knows, maybe we might get more debris cautions. By my calculations, Biffle's about 2 laps short on fuel, but if he gets one more caution...
Come on, buddy, we're 6 seconds back. Let's get up there. I'm sure he's still angry with you.
All it takes is just one more yellow. And LePage is starting to catch right back up to Biffle. He's tried to turn him a couple times since the second accident Biffle was involved in. Down the back straightaway, he's got Terry Labonte drafting with him. So it looks like Brett Bodine's just kind of lost the draft from all these guys. Oh, and there he goes. He moves him up out of the way. And again, right up into the wall. That right front's pretty severely damaged on the 16 car as well. And again, that's got to be taking a lot of speed out of it. Terry Labonte's got some damage. He's missing his hood. Not sure he's very fast. Biffle wants to draft with him if he can, but Biffle likely needs to be the push car, so he's going to let Labonte go to the inside. Maybe try to draft behind him. Get a share draft going between the two. And hopefully they can work themselves up there. Now we have some of the leaders hitting pit road. So some guys trying to short pit. That window is open to the end of the race. may have turned into a fuel mileage race for the 16 team. They have not made it further than 40 laps on a full tank of fuel. And again, they would have to go 42 on this run. So they are about 2 laps short. But if he can draft enough and save enough, he could make it. And again, we are 1 caution away from really finding out if he can or not as well. Still possibility of another debris caution before the end of the day from anybody that was involved in any of those accidents that we have seen in the second half of this race. Bonnie checking up there behind Brett Bodine. Bonnie to the inside of Brett Bodine. Bodine trying to block him off again. Brett's just now getting up to speed. Fresher tires as well. It'll be interesting. And now all of a sudden, Bonnie moves up. Biffle got below him. Well, this could be good that he's drafting Brett Bodine. Bodine is a little bit faster than Labonte, and he's got fresher tires, and he's a rival, so Biffle doesn't need to pass him. He can draft behind him, patch this rivalry up. And we'll see if these 3 guys can try to get to the lead. Problem is, a little mistake there. 15 seconds off the lead. These guys are not staying organized whatsoever. See if he can pull away from Bonnie this time. Bobby Labonte just keeps trying to pass Biffle. Biffle is trying to draft with somebody here. Brett Bodine keeps running the outside as well. That's not helping Biffle at all, but Biffle doesn't want to pass him.
You're starting to make some enemies out there, buddy.
Well, it's below 60, so if Biffle does have to somehow make a pass around Labonte, at least he's not going to try to door slam him again. Kevin LePage, on the other hand, the next driver ahead of Greg Biffle, might try to do that. But this is good. Biffle's saving fuel behind Labonte. Can he save enough? Can he save 2 laps of fuel to make it to the end of this race? And seemingly nobody else can.
The 11 car is going to make it hard for you to get around it.
And now Labonte's moved to the bottom. It's good. That's what Biffle wants to see. Move to the bottom of the racetrack. Try to gain as much time as he can. Could be a tough pass on Kevin LePage for Biffle's sake. Labonte gonna get to the inside of LePage really easily. Biffle gets around him quickly. Whew. Big sigh of relief for the 16 of Biffle as they got around LePage quickly there. He's already tried to turn Biffle a couple times here late. So we'll have to keep an eye on that interval as the race carries forward. Because if Biffle does have to pit to the end, it's going to be fuel only. It's going to be a half a can, gas and go, and get out of the pits. So if it's only like an 8-second stop or so, and he has half the amount of time that the rest of the field will on pit road for 4-tire stop under these green flag conditions, can Biffle get to within about 8 seconds or so before he pits to try and come out as the leader? He's going to try to draft with Bodine as much as he can, but that is going to be his best opportunity, in my opinion, of winning this race. Well, the guy went from his rival to Probably going to be an ally here before long. And he has already pitted, so we know he doesn't have to pit. Biffle's got him as long as he wants for a drafting partner. Denny Ham. Before Denny Hamlin drove the 11. Actually, Jason Leffler drove the 11 before Hamlin did. They kind of split time, I believe, in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. Another blown engine on the bottom of the racetrack. And it's Jeff Burton in the 99. Tough break there. He was up at the front every now and then today. I don't think he led a lap. But unfortunately, Jeff Burton's day has come to an end. That'll move Biffle into the top 25. I think Biffle's best hope is for this race to stay green. Coincidentally here, Greg Biffle won a fuel mileage race in the Pepsi 400 back in 2003. That was his first career win. Pepsi 400, 2003 season here on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Greg Biffle beating a battered race car, trying to make it on fuel to the end of the race and sucker everybody else. It could be a fuel mileage race here. That would be crazy. What a coincidence if that ends up happening. Carmel Max, welcome to the stream. What a coincidence if that actually happened. The Nines move back to the outside. Biffle's got no choice but to draft behind him. And again, even if he can't close that gap, if he does have to pit, maybe he can save enough fuel to make it to the end of the race, too. That is definitely possible. And he's 20 seconds back, so he is not closing into that gap at all. It goes to show how slow Greg Biffle's car is. That is just two cars versus a big pack, too. That doesn't help. Yeah, Kyle Busch's win prevented Truex from making the championship four. That is very true. I think if Busch won a race this season, he wouldn't have, or I should say he might have let Truex go, but him not winning a race all year, trying to keep that win streak alive and just trying to get to victory lane mostly this season. He didn't want to have a winless season. I think played a large part in that. Christian Fittipaldi up ahead. Brett Bodine works to the inside now. Fittipaldi on the top up there. Biffle in line. Fittipaldi tries to go down and block Bodine. He did. And all of a sudden, Biffle is going to draft with Fittipaldi. Now he's allies with Brett Bodine. So they're going to leave Bodine in the dust. Not sure if Fittipaldi has a faster car or not. I don't think he might have hit pit road already. I don't think he's the next driver for position. One of the leaders coming into the pits. Could be closer to their fuel window from the last time they hit pit road. Yeah, Fittipaldi's not for position, so Fittipaldi's already pit. Oh, Biffle almost got the wall into turn one there. So hard to run the outside on this bumpier Daytona. Plus the damage, I'm sure, affecting the aerodynamics of the 16 car. Biffle just Trying to draft and save fuel. Trying to win this race on fuel mileage just by getting involved in the big one, giving him the significant damage. Got involved in another accident after that as well. Baldy keeps running the top. Oh, and he's starting to pull Biffle. So more of the leaders coming to pit road. Chase Montgomery right in front. Greg Biffle, Christian Fittipaldi as they go to the outside still. I think Chase Montgomery might be coming to pit road this time, so... Yes, he is. So that is why he was so low on the inside, letting Fittipaldi and Biffle go. Not trying to block. Biffle to the top 10, up to 9th. So still the top 8 cars have to hit the pits.
Going inside. All clear, ready.
Fittipaldi back down on the bottom of the track now. Shortest way around. More of the leaders hitting pit road. Can the 16 team make it? And Jack Sprague is just up ahead, all by himself. One of Biffle's rivals. Tried to turn him a couple times today. Biffle drafting with Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi looks underneath of Sprague. Sprague blocking him off, though. Remember, Sprague actually did wipe out Biffle earlier, not just tried to. That brought out one of the other cautions. He door slammed him in the middle of the corner. Turns 1 and 2, in fact, and pinched him. I don't think the 16 car is going to make it. Needs Fittipaldi to get underneath the 0 of Sprague. Not able to. Big run underneath the 43. He's just going to draft behind Jack Sprague. And Sprague is actually coming to pit road. Despite blocking Fittipaldi, he comes to pit road. And that's not what Greg Biffle wanted to see. Kevin Harvick on the racetrack, so is Matt Kenseth, and not anymore. Biffle back in the lead. It'll be a lead change at the start-finish line. Biffle wanted to stay in front. He might have to pit here. Well, Fittipaldi's going to get back around him. Biffle will duck in line behind Christian. Down the back straightaway. We'll see. Biffle just so slow. Even Fittipaldi able to get around him easily on the outside there.
Let's keep it clean, buddy. Someone we can work with.
Biffle will stay out to the line this time. It'll be a lead change. He'll lead another lap. 21 laps to go here in the Pepsi 400. 20 seconds ahead of Sterling Marlin. And the rest of those guys behind him, he is not going to be able to go into the pits and get back to the lead. It is just not going to happen. He's committed now. He's got to save to the end.
You two have been working well together lately.
And maybe try to get a caution. Well, Biffle is just hoping he can make it on fuel to the end of the race. 20 laps to go this time by as he continues to draft behind Fittipaldi. Biffle just clinched the most laps led. Jeff Green has just moved into second place, by the way. Had a Sterling Marlin that last lap. Jeff Green trying to go for a win here at Daytona. Seen some upset winners here before. Biffle trying to go for his 6th win of the season. Trying to save fuel to the end of the race with a 20-second lead. His only chance of winning today is to make it on fuel to the finish. Caution might help him save enough to the end, but then he'll have the pack of cars right behind him with a much slower car with the damage. And he has widened out that gap here. The pack is battling hard for second. This was Kevin Harvick's situation in the Daytona 500, remember, trying to win the race the same way Biffle is leading currently right now. But having to go an extra 2 laps is the problem. Biffle almost got the wall off of turn 2 there. Fittipaldi's starting to draft off of, I believe that's Chase Montgomery right ahead of him. He almost pulled away from Biffle. Biffle got really loose off of turn 2. Almost got the wall. It didn't check up, but almost lost the draft. There are more cars up ahead as well. Lap cars, of course. Can make this pack a little bit bigger. Maybe try to help Biffle out a little bit more. 21.5 second lead. So they're maintaining that gap in the draft. That's good. At least 10 bonus points are locked up as well here for Biffle, obviously leading the most laps. Couple laps to go, and these 3 cars are starting to pull him a little bit. He's got to be careful. Got to stay in the draft any which way he can, and he does behind Fittipaldi. The pack was about 0.3 of a second faster than Biffle. I don't think they're going to catch him unless Biffle loses the draft. That is really the only way I think that they even have a chance of catching him. Just over 1/3 of a track ahead of him. Oh, almost slid up into the wall. Stays in the gas though, trying to stay behind Chase Montgomery now. And that's another thing too. He loses the draft. He's not going to be able to save any extra fuel. Run here. You're going to get Hermie Sadler behind him, perhaps. That could be a drafting help behind him as well as in front of him. All this drafting, though, will it save 2 laps of fuel? Problem is, they've gone the long way around the racetrack most of the time, too, on the outside, more often than the inside. And here's a huge pack of cars. A couple of rivals in there, Mike Skinner and Jack Sprague. Oh boy. It is a bigger pack. Biffle still trying to stay to the back here. Jamie McMurray up here as well. Underneath Mike Skinner. Skinner takes a shot at Biffle. Washes up the track. Biffle trying to stay in the draft of Mike Skinner. He might lose him after that contact. Through the tri-oval, trying to stay with them. That was not good. Biffle doing whatever he can. There is 4 cars, and they're all single file versus 2 of Biffle and Kyle Petty. And Biffle being the lead car, that is not good. He's going to have to let Kyle Petty pass him. Mike Skinner, door check. Greg Biffle going into turn 3 last lap, costing Biffle an amount of draft, and he wants Kyle Petty to pass him, but Petty can't get enough of a run to get around him. Now through 3 and 4, he's got to run. Petty will get around Biffle. Biffle needs to stay with Kyle Petty in the draft. Low on fuel. And he will stay with Kyle Petty. Skinner tried to cost Biffle the race right there. That was close. I don't know. I mean, he's low on fuel. That's a quarter tank left. Going to alternate to the different camera angles this time by at the start-finish line as well. "15 seconds now. It's the gap back to Sterling Marlin in second with 12 to go. Joshua White, welcome to the stream. Oh, still trying to stay in the draft with Kyle Petty. Down the back straightaway. No help behind Biffle. There is one more car a little bit further back if he did lose the draft from Kyle Petty. But needing to save as much fuel as he can the rest of this race. Older tires, just trying to hang on as well. Just make it a little more difficult. Yeah, the pack. Oh, a little touch off the wall. Again, the pack is spread apart. Biffle's at the back trying to save fuel. Only driver that pitted under the last caution might be 2 laps short, but that was his only hope, was to make it on fuel when everybody else couldn't. Nobody else came on the pit road there as well. In the draft of Kyle Petty. They will be coming to 10 laps to go this time by. Biffle is low on fuel, but he is roughly 2 laps short by my estimates. Unless he has saved enough over this run. I just don't think he's saved enough. 10 to go. We'll see.
Just 10 laps left.
About 14 seconds ahead of Sterling Marlin. That could be the race for the win back there.
He's had some good things to say about you.
Had a lot of cautions today. Will we have another? That could also help Biffle save fuel under yellow. A wild night at Daytona. They're not going to run Biffle down unless he runs out of gas. I mean, and you got to wonder, too, will he pit
That's someone we can trust.
before he runs out of gas? How heartbreaking that would be to do that. But you got to remember, points are on the line here. Petty's taking the inside
You're making me nervous.
line.
Here for some gas.
I don't think Biffle's short. I think he's actually burned more fuel than what he saved, and that damage could be a large reason. You know, Jack Sprague turned him earlier in the race. Can we see retaliation? Biffle needs a caution. He's in line right behind him. Biffle needs retaliation. At this point, needs a caution. Hate to want to win a race this way, but at the same time, Sprague dumped Biffle earlier in the race, bringing out one of those yellows, adding more damage to the 16, putting him in this situation. Jeff Green, meanwhile, 13 seconds off the lead, back up to second place. We'll go to the normal cam at the start-finish line this time by. You see 1.2 gallons of fuel. 1.2 gallons left for Greg Biffle. That is not going to be enough to make it all the way back to the finish. They were coming to 6 laps to go this time by yet. And Sprague is starting to draft with Kyle Petty and pull away from him. Well, he started to pull away from him. Biffle's trying to reel him back in again. Slowly reeling Sprague back in. He'll be coming to 5 laps to go this time by. Right underneath the 0. Oh, he tried to turn him. Oh, my goodness. Huge crash. Sprague up and over in turns 3 and 4. And Biffle leads back to the line. Biffle tried to retaliate back on Sprague. Sprague then retaliated on Biffle. And up and over goes Jack Sprague in turns 3 and 4. 5 laps to go at the yellow. I don't think Biffle's got enough fuel to the end. He's going to try to stay out, but I don't think Biffle's got enough fuel to the end of this race. Biffle leads at the line. 2 laps to go. Yeah, he's only got a half a gallon left. He's not going to make it. The race is on for everybody else now. Biffle is out of gas into turn 1. Should have pitted. Jeff Green will take the lead, and nobody else is passing Biffle through turns 1 and 2. Jeff Green is going to run away with this thing. Oh, try to turn Newman there. Huge damage though to the back of the 16 car. We could get a debris caution. And then it's just a matter of trying to make it back to the start-finish line this time. What a tough break. White flag is in the air, 1 lap to go. Now Biffle's in 29th. All the lead lap cars have already passed him. So all he's got to do is get back to the line and secure 29th. And he's going to hit pit road, top off on fuel, on his way to doing that, trying to get back to the line before the leaders get there, so he can at least secure 29th. We talked about it at the top of the day. And there we go. Jeff Green will win the Pepsi 400. And Biffle actually went a lap down right before the finish there, so that is the end of the race. So Jeff Green wins the Pepsi 400 on a green-white checker finish.
It seems like we had a lot of lead changes.
Should have topped off. I mean, we would have lost. We would have restarted at the back of the pack anyway, but we could have at least gained a couple spots.
And did some damage to his car.
You know, some of these teams have multiple cars, and a race like this won't set them back too far.
Crazy race
Guys who have only one or two cars, it's something
here today in the Pepsi 400. And the rivals, I think you can say, costed Greg Biffle a chance to win the race. Biffle got dumped. He got absolutely just demolished by Jack Sprague midway through the race, causing Biffle to pit. Then he got caught in the big one a little bit later, which was the main damage. So if it wasn't for Sprague giving him that damage to begin with, he wouldn't have been in the big one. And remember, the big one was caused when him and Ryan Newman got together in the tri-oval. Second green-white checker finish of the season. First since Michigan on the fourth race of the year. We'll take a look at the finishing results. Greg Biffle did everything he could, but yeah, we were a couple laps short on fuel there. Just under 2 laps short. Jeff Green gets the win, leading just 9 laps all day. That might be his first career win. I'm not entirely sure if Jeff Green's won a Cup Series race. I don't believe he has, so I believe that is the first career win for Jeff Green. Second driver this season to get their first career win. Sterling Marlin was up front a lot in the second half of the race, finished second, led 26 laps. Tony Stewart finished third, 6 laps led there. Kevin Harvick finished in fourth. He led some laps. Jerry Nadeau with a great run, top 5. He was there for a lot of the second half of the race. Ryan Newman finished 6th after all that carnage. He was involved in the big one as well. Remember, him and Biffle got together there, which kind of caused the big one. Michael Waltrip 7th, Matt Kenseth 8th, Mark Martin 9th, and Dale Jarrett rounds out the top 10 with laps led. Biffle led the most laps today, getting bonus points there. Finished 29th, leading 75 of the 160 laps. 9 cautions for 27 caution laps. Did not finish on the lead lap. He was the first car lap down. So 28 drivers finished on the lead lap today. Take a look at who all DNF'd in the race. We had quite a few. Jeff Burton, Joe Nemechek, Jimmy Johnson, Casey Mears, Elliott Sadler, Rusty Wallace, Dale Jr., Ward Burton, and Steve Park all DNF'd in today's race. It was a wild one. Man, oh man. No green-white checkers in 2003. Yep, yeah. We've had 2 of them already this season. First 11 races. Crazy race. 2 in a row. Biffle just got beat around at Martinsville basically the whole race. Wrecked out on his own, though, midway through, but the damage leading up to that point obviously was caused by the rivals that were made through the race. And those same rivals put him in a situation where he had to try to win the race on fuel mileage and wasn't able to do it today. Ran just less than 2 laps short. So, next race is the Daytona Road Course. Second road course race of the season. I can guarantee you there are a lot of people on the list that Greg Biffle will be getting payback with that put him back in that position. Ryan Newman and him got together, causing the big one. Newman, one of his rivals. Obviously, Jack Sprague. Granted, he got the worst end of that last accident, flipping in turns 3 and 4, bringing out that 9th and final caution, which set up the green-white checker. But he also did wreck Biffle earlier in the race on his own, too. They are not even by any means. He tried to turn Sprague to make it even, and then Sprague retaliated after the failed attempt by Biffle trying to turn him. Kevin LePage also wiped Biffle out earlier in the race, and LePage actually wiped out Biffle at Martinsville, too. So did Newman. LePage wiped out Biffle at Martinsville and Daytona. And Jack Sprague wiped out Greg Biffle today. So those are the 3 drivers that will get payback at some point during the Daytona Road Course in the next race. Crazy way this one has us. Wait, Daytona Road Course is in this game? Yes, but it's a different configuration. It's not the Daytona Road Course that NASCAR or that IMSA race is on. But that will be the next race in our Daytona doubleheader here, about midway through the season. Still early in the season, but we're about a third of the way done. And those last two races definitely hurt Greg Biffle in the point standings. He was fifth a couple races ago. We'll check the point standings real quick before we get out of here. So Jack Sprague, or sorry, not Jack Sprague, Jeff Green with the win. And the second straight DEI driver to get a win this season. So an upset winner at Daytona, Jeff Green. He is going to be the 7th different winner in the first 11 races of the season. Ryan Newman has regained the points lead from Ricky Rudd after today's race. Look at that. Narrow points battle here. Tony Stewart second, Ricky Rudd, Kevin Harvick, Dale Jr., who DNF'd, is fifth after going in third in points. Dale Jarrett within a race still. So the top 6 within one race of the points lead, that hasn't changed since the last race. They all, for the most part, had good finishes outside of Dale Jr. Michael Waltrip climbs in the points from 10th to 8th, and Greg Biffle falls from 7th to 6th, and now 256 back. Robbie, welcome to the stream at the very end here. Man, oh man. That definitely got ugly. But again, there will be some payback going into the race tomorrow, and there you kind of see the layout of the Daytona Road Course. So that is going to wrap it up for this one. Daytona Road Course tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the NASCAR Thunder 2004 Series. It'll be the last Thunder 04 stream this week, so we will run the Daytona Road Course tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We have these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast on the daily. I think that race is actually really long tomorrow. It's over 2 miles in length, and I believe it's 143 laps. My goodness, 500 kilometers, but still. That is a little too long of a race for a road course, but sit back, relax. It's going to be wild. We're going to see tempers flaring because we have some rivals that need some payback, costing us a chance to win both of the last 2 races. So that is going to do it here for this one. Again, hit the like button down below if you enjoyed the race commentary, the video in general as well. And again, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We do these on the daily videos. Elsewhere coming up sometime this week as well that I've been working on. So keep an eye out on that. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Daytona Road Course, NASCAR Thunder 2004. Thanks, and have a good rest of your night.